Multiplying Faces Amplifying Voices Project began in 2016 with the recruitment of Ward Advocacy Committees who became instrumental in monitoring and assessing service delivery in Gwanda. The project saw women taking a keen interest to effectively participate in local decision-making processes. The culture of inclusive, gender-sensitive dialogue, transparency and accountability was alien to both duty bearers and rights holders in Gwanda Central. Women do not have a platform to express their views and consolidate their voice in ways that can be heard by duty bearers and public officials. Locals were hardly consulted in council planning and budgeting, which is why local authority plans and budgets hardly reflected gender-sensitive priorities. Absence of women in local decision-making platforms was a challenge that made it harder for women's priorities to be taken seriously. In Gwanda, all the 10 wards were represented by male councillors. The project's impact is seen through influencing the community to elect a woman leader into office to represent Gwanda's Ward 2 so as to address the needs of women. Napi Moyo is a female ward councillor who is standing for the rights of women in her ward and ensuring that women's priority needs are acted upon, such as access to water, healthcare, and sewer reticulation.
From 2016 on up, up to 2018 ukuthi ngisengenelise ukuba ngukhansela. I-YLD yangifundisa kakhulu mina ukuthi akula sikhundla okuthiwa lesingisikababa, akula post okuthiwa njengemuntu ongubaba, akula into zonke sonke siyalingana. I-YLD mina yathi ingifundisa bathi bona umuntu ongumama uyayenelisa. Yisi islogan esasilazo sokuthi umama uyayenelisa, umama uyakwanisa, akulanto engamehlula. Kwaba nzima sibili ngiqala ukucontesta ukuthi ngangisitshela ukuthi kambe njengomama ngizakwanisa yini ngoba mina ngahlala lapha eGwanda phela engakubonayo ukuthi kwakungamakhansela ngoba bakuphila. So ngazibuza ukuthi kambe mina ngafika khompana ngingumama kuzavuma yini. But i-YLD banika isibindi, sasiyenza ama-awarenesses, sisenza ama-workshops. I remember 2017 basihambisa eBulawayo lapho esabafika khona saba le workshop esathi sesiqina baqina besidingi kuthiwa omunye lomunye akaqabane umuntu ongamncedisa ku-position ayifunayo. Nikho lami ngakhetha umento wami, ngathethi sofa umento wami use-China, but still lokho sincedisana azange ngijiyele khona kwanceda kakhulu ngoba ngangakwazi ukuthi ungayenelisa ukuthi ngidinge umuntu ongangincedisa nxa ngifuna ukwenza umsebenzi lo.
It is under such a socio-economic and political environment of this nature in Gwanda Central that Women's Institute for Leadership Development observed the need to carry out a project aimed towards ensuring women's needs are prioritized by the local authority through effecting a gender-responsive provision of service delivery.
I will say that CYEDT wants to actually appreciate the leadership that was provided by WILD during the start of the organization because most of our programming back then was actually based on the activities that were held by WILD. We were working in collaboration and partnership. So I also want to appreciate the mentorship and the leadership that was provided by WILD, WILD as an organization and WILD as individuals that are working at WILD. As an organization, we came to realize our dream. We also came to find our feet through the programming, the spaces that were provided by WILD. I also want to actually appreciate the program that they were conducting at community level, which gave women a space to actually realize the potential, the energy that they have as change agents of the community. Through their programming, I've seen most of the women standing up, actually claiming the space, especially young women, because we are a youth-based organization. So my actually, analysis will be biased to young women. So I've seen young women taking up initiatives, taking up spaces of leadership at community level through the capacity buildings, through the constitutional literacy, through the leadership forums that they attended as provided by WILD.
Since the inception of the project, Gwanda women are now assertive and confident to take a leading role in demanding for improved service delivery.
I-WILD yasincedisa kakhulu
ukuthi umuntu ongumama akamelanga ayesabe, kumele lathi sisebenze njengeyabobaba, ungayesabeki vele. Ukuba ngulida yaba ngulida ngekhaya, qalisele ngekhaya, ube ngulida phandle, ube ngulida phakathi komuzi nje edolobheni. Kwase kusiba lula ke kithi, wasitraina nje izinto eziningi ezitshiyeneyo. Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi uyabusesaba lokuthi ukhulume phakathi kwabantu, kodwa ngendlela abasifacilitathela ngayo basifundisa ukuthi umuntu kumele ungesabi, kumele ube lesibindi, so ukhuluma whatever you want. Lokhu wrong ungakuvumeli ukuthi lokhu ngivunyiswa ngokuthi kube ngesabi, but basincedisa ukwenza izinto ezinjengazona lezo.
Multiplying Faces Amplifying Voices Project is a project that was conducted in Gwanda urban. The project seeks to enhance the participation of women in decision-making in Gwanda district by end of 2020 for gender-responsive service delivery and equitable distribution of public resources as provided for in the Constitution. The project seeks to address the problem of marginalization of women in political processes, policy formulation, decision-making at local and national government level. It seeks to advocate for women's inclusion in social, economic and political processes. The project advocates for accountability and transparency among office bearers for effective service delivery. It also seeks to advocate for equitable participation of women in policy formulation, political leadership, and all areas of civic and political life. As the project comes to an end, women are now able to demand for improved social service delivery in Gwanda. We have seen this through women writing petitions to Parliament and also to their local authority. The petitions have resulted to the transfer of water from Zinwa to Gwanda Council. Also, the petitions have also resulted to the Parliament responding by sending a parliamentary portfolio committee on local government to Gwanda for an all stakeholders engagement. The engagement resulted in the formation of a working committee that also included residents. This committee was very instrumental in setting up of a water kiosk in Ward 5 and sewer reticulation lines for Ward 5 and Ward 6. The project also saw women participating in elections both as candidates and as voters, and some women were also observers in the election, especially the 2018 election. When WAL started operating in Gwanda, Gwanda did not have any female councillors. It was a male-dominated council, and because of the different programs that we do as an organization, which includes the mentorship program, we saw more women showing interest in the election that was in the 2018 election as compared to the 2013, where we had only 3 interests. But in the 2018 election, we had more than 16 women showing interest in running for council. This resulted in 1 female councillor being elected into office in the 2018 elections. Because our work in Gwanda also involved influencing men to become gender champions, councillors in Gwanda also became part of the gender champions, and the male councillors actually encouraged women to also participate in the 2018 election. Engagements with Gwanda Council resulted in Council conducting women-only budget consultative meetings. This saw women effectively participating in the budget process and putting forward their priorities for their respective wards. The project saw the establishment of Ward Advocacy Committee members for each of the 10 wards. The works were very influential in identifying service delivery issues that affect them in their communities and also mobilizing the rest of the communities to demand improved services in Gwanda. One of the issues that the works identified was the issue of Imani Mine, where the activities of the mine were causing cracks in the nearby houses in Ward 8. We saw works petitioning the Ministry of Mines, Gwanda Council on this issue, and because of the amplified voices of women in Gwanda and of works, the issue ended up attracting other like-minded organizations such as the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, which is ZELA, and the issue was taken to court, resulting in a court ruling which ordered the mine to cease operations.
The organization has a strength in grassroots women mobilization, capacity building in entrepreneurship, and leadership development. Women are now actively involved in demanding for accountability and transparency from local authorities. WILD has created synergies with organizations that complement its capacities in advocating for women's participation in decision-making and political processes.
Since knowing you, I would like to say this, that I'm extremely happy because before there were a lot of things that were happening ezazisenza ukuthi abantu bengabikwazi ukuthi kuyinokwenzakalala. First thing that iWILD brought to emphakathini weGwanda, I can say, yikuvala igap between the residents and council. Ama-residents, they didn't take responsibility on umuzi wabo. They thought i-council is another animal, labo bangabanye abantu. But iWILD yayenza ukuthi through engagement sazane, sihlangane, we interact, we discuss issues. And most of our discussions that we had iWILD akaze abe controversial, akaze abe particular to an individual, akaze abe political. It can happen ukuthi abanye abantu bachibilikisa into twist arm, but the most agenda yeWILD, the objective abengayinanzelela ukuthi they were treating izakhamizi, the council, as abantu kumele bebe united. So I can say since ukwazi iWILD yenza abantu even ewadini yami, I'm happy because I've got representative abasebenza leWILD. Ama programs angikhona, they attend them. Well, I cannot say I cannot mention they stick to time, they stick to their promise. Issues like budget preparation or budget consultation, they are well much involved. And abantu sebekwazi ukuthi kumele behambe ukuyalalela ibudget. And abantu sebele that courage ukuthi awu councillor uyabizwa umbuze. I mean for those abamelele ukubuza, athi ayisithi sonke esibizwa. But kulabanye ababizi becela councillor sicela ukubona. There are those incidents.
In order to promote mutual learning, the organization has created meaningful relationships with duty bearers and rights holders to promote knowledge development and sharing, networking and advocacy regarding social accountability and gender equality.
Before that court ruling, iWILD assisted us a lot ngokuba my engagement meetings. So my engagement meetings ngathi ayi-3. Bayigoqela RDC ngoba imani mayenzeke falls under Gwanda Rural District jurisdiction, although itoze kakhulu le-urban setup, but yonifolana. So sabala ma-engagement meetings sincediswa iWILD ukubuthanisa abantu, sabalawaza afika ka-3.
Prior to the project, Gwanda was known for its all-male and gender-insensitive council, inadequate housing, inadequate water supply, unserviced residential stands, and cracks on homes caused by mine blasts. In 2019, WILD established a Young Women Shadow Council, which played a key role in pushing for the implementation of key local government policies.
I've been trained in research and advocacy unity, the WILD. We were trained since 15 and we managed to train another 15 champions. As of now, we're 30. From trainer, then we managed to do a dialogue meeting with our councillors. We did awareness, door-to-door awareness as our champions. If we look for my champions, some young women from different wards, from Ward 1 up to Ward 10. So what we're doing, each champion was having a role which raise awareness door-to-door kuwajakhela mpahla khona. So indlela esakwanisa ukuthi sikwanisa ukufundisana khona labantu on elokhu devolution ukuthi abantu bathole ulwazi ngedevolution.
Following the social accountability trainings, the aptitudes of Ward Advocacy Committees, Young Women Shadow Council in monitoring and assessing service delivery in Gwanda improved.
iWILD yayisiyenza ama-meetings ona lawo sibe sibiza i-council, sengage le-council, of which bona balalela kakhulu. Ukuthi khona begcine sebedinga i-organization ethiwa i-Africa Aid yagcine sifaka amabhoko engiyazi iboyo ise eWard 5 ikakhulu yona lekade ngikhona. So far ngibona kube lotshintsho olukhulu kakhulu.
WILD's interventions in Gwanda were central in locating the role of women in the broader local level development and service delivery matrix. The project contributed significantly to amplifying women's voices, to demand gender-responsive service delivery and equitable distribution of public resources.